Good afternoon, everyone. The multi-generational freeze continues. Going to give you the updates exactly where the cold is. Midwest Plains states, Great Lakes. Looking at about a 45-hour event. There's missing data with record cold temperatures up around in Chicago. This is going to extend all the way through the 31st. And it looks like the line is going to be somewhere south of Indiana. Winter storm warnings through Mississippi and Alabama. Lake Erie in 10 days gaining 68% ice coverage. We'll take a look at the waterspouts in Greece. Jumping over here to weathermodels.com, 500 millibar, you can see exactly where the cold intrusion, the Arctic multi-generational super freeze event is pushing. In the central U.S., this is going to be tracking to the east as well. So they're looking at about a 45-hour event from this start to finish. So as those temperatures descend, 45 hours is the amount of time that you're looking for. Brutally cold in the morning. This comes off Severe Weather EU. They have a great wind chill temperature map here, minus 50, minus 60. You'll start to see these numbers that the National Weather Service did not put out until the event started. They could have been warning people days in advance, but they waited until the very last second to tell people about these types of incredible multi-generation super freeze temperatures. Now back to weathermodels.com. This is the actual ground temperature in Fahrenheit. Still looking some places minus 40 to 45 degrees below zero Fahrenheit. This is not wind chill. It's straight up temperatures on the ground. As we start moving through specific areas across the U.S. here, Minnesota, the Dakotas, Midwest Plains states, you can see exactly where you are. You're going to be the first that this storm is going to pass over and it's going to warm up. Get this, from where you are at minus 50, some places 30 to 40 degrees by next week. That's a 100-degree Fahrenheit swing in some places expected over the next 3 to 4 days. And again, right where the southern portion of this extreme Arctic cold, it's going to taper off somewhere in Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, and it may even touch down into West Virginia as it descends and pushes more eastward. Still looking at these daily low temperatures, minus 30, minus 35, minus 47 degrees Fahrenheit. That's below zero ground temperatures. Now what's most interesting, Ryan Maui's been tracking the possible all-time record coldest day ever in Chicago, showing that by midnight, the temperature has to fall to at least minus 12 degrees Fahrenheit or 12 below zero. And as you can see, the temperature forecast moving out does exactly that. Chicago O'Hare, severe temperature step off there down to 22 degrees Fahrenheit below zero. But somehow, there's missing data if there was a record set. Imagine that. The time skips from 11:51 right over that entire hour, right into 51 minutes into January 30th. Now, if there would have been a record set there for all-time coldest temperatures ever recorded in Chicago, that would go against the global warming narrative. So I'm wondering why there's that missing data set there. Maybe we'll dig it out one day. Who knows? But records are being smashed across these areas, especially Illinois. This is one place to focus on. It's always cold in the winter, extreme cold temperatures anyway. Here we are, minus 37 degrees Fahrenheit, new records being set. And a detailed look at the map here at the temperatures for 1:30 a.m. Zulu, January 30, records being broken. But when I'm looking across the mainstream media, USA Today, etc., they're not mentioning any of these all-time cold records being set. They're calling it a frigid intrusion. There's a big difference between once in a multi-generation Arctic freeze that sets all-time temperature cold records in a place versus frigid air. Chris Dulce, picking up here on the ice gain Lake Erie just in the last 10 days. Ice concentration has risen from 3% to 71%. That's a 68% gain in 10 days. Now up in the north, northeast, Midwest Plains states, it's expected it's going to get cold with this Arctic blast. But here we are now. Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, winter storm warnings, severe freeze warnings as well, extending all the way down to Texas. And the BBC is even picking it up here. In Iowa, get this, the government's telling people to avoid taking deep breaths and to minimize talking, to minimize the damage in your throat due to the cold. And this wasn't a red flag warning days ago before the event actually hit. I just don't understand why, because all the forecasts were out there talking about this dangerous cold coming, but they didn't tell you until the day it started. And they're even under-reporting the temperatures. They're trying to knock the temperature off to make it not appear as cold. And this is what's being found out. And this is what I'm going to bring you over the next few days here. But the comparisons here, January 28th, colder than Mars, wherever you see all that blue. Now, that is not expected in global warming to be colder than Mars across a predominant area of North America. When I take a look at the National Weather Service here, the way they explain the break-off and the way this Arctic vortice occurred, when warm air travels into the polar regions, it displaces the colder air south. They could have said a high-pressure system. Why is it warm air? I wonder if there's a narrative agenda behind that, perhaps. And then at the top right, by Wednesday, a pocket of displaced frigid air. Frigid? Really? Minus 50 degrees Fahrenheit is frigid. Not all-time record cold, severe warnings for health, breathing, skin, frostbite, animals, your house, power, your life. Nope, it's just frigid air. So this is the reason I question a lot of what's coming out of the official narrative of what is happening on our planet with temperatures, the mix-up in the jet streams, these intrusions that shouldn't happen. The magnetosphere is weakening due to the grand solar minimum. Now, do you think there should be water spouts this ferocious in Greece in the middle of January? I don't think so either. Off of Rhodes, Greece, January 30th. Let's divide that out there. Beautiful shot. And story of the day comes from Smash-O-Mash. I encourage you to head over to his channel, subscribe. Ancient crystals offer evidence to the start of Earth's core solidifying. And you can learn a whole lot about how the sun affects Earth's weather systems right on that same channel. And during these uncertain times, I've teamed up with My Patriot Supply long-term food storage. A nice, affordable starter kit, 2-week food supply, 1,500 calories per day, breakfast, lunch, and dinners, plus the 4-gallon storage containers included in that. This is a good first step in getting more self-sufficient. And if you click through the Prepare with Adapt 2030 page in My Patriot Supply, you can get this starter kit for $75. Please remember there's a limit of 2 per household in this special offer. Thanks for watching. Hope you got something out of the video. If you like this type of information, 30 minutes at a time, mini Ice Age Conversations podcast, anywhere podcasts are hosted across the net. And if you like your information in snippets of 1 minute or less, a rundown here of the Adapt 2030 you can find across the social media landscape.